The moral limits of power. Power is necessary. Without power, order cannot be preserved. Without authority, institutions cannot function. Without leadership, direction dissolves. Yet power contains danger. Unchecked power corrodes judgment. Unrestrained authority weakens legitimacy. Power without limits eventually destroys the structure that created it. The strength of a nation is not measured only by how power is gained. It is measured by how power is restrained. Part 1, the nature of power. Power is influence. Power is the capacity to make decisions that shape the lives of others. Governments possess power. Institutions possess power. Leaders possess power. But power itself is neutral. It reflects the character of those who hold it. In disciplined hands, power protects. In careless hands, power harms. Therefore, the question is never simply how power is obtained. The deeper question is how power is governed. Part 2, the temptation of authority. Authority carries temptation. Temptation to silence criticism. Temptation to bypass procedure. Temptation to accumulate privilege. Temptation to confuse obedience with respect. When authority becomes insulated from accountability, temptation grows stronger. Power begins to protect itself rather than serve the people. Institutions become tools rather than safeguards. When that transformation occurs, trust declines. Trust once weakened is difficult to restore. Part 3, legitimacy and restraint. Legitimacy is the foundation of stable authority. Legitimacy does not come only from law. It comes from fairness, from consistency, from restraint. A government that restrains itself strengthens legitimacy. A government that exercises power without limits weakens it. Restraint is not weakness. It is discipline. It signals maturity. It signals respect for law. And respect for law encourages compliance. Compliance strengthens stability. Part 4, the rule of law. Law must apply universally. If law becomes selective, power becomes arbitrary. Arbitrary power breeds fear. Fear breeds resentment. Resentment weakens unity. Unity is essential for national strength. Therefore, law must stand above individual, above personality, above temporary advantage. Law is not an obstacle to power. It is the structure that protects power from corruption. Part 5, transparency as protection. Power that operates in secrecy invites suspicion. Transparency protects legitimacy. When decisions are explained clearly, trust increases. When information is concealed unnecessarily, rumors multiply. Rumor creates instability. Transparency does not eliminate disagreement, but it strengthens credibility. Credibility encourages patience. Patience stabilizes society during difficult decisions. Part 6, the danger of fear-based power. Fear can produce obedience, but fear cannot produce loyalty. Fear cannot produce innovation. Fear cannot produce trust. A society governed primarily by fear becomes cautious. Caution reduces initiative. Reduced initiative weakens productivity. Productivity influences economic strength. Economic strength influences sovereignty. Fear-based authority sacrifices long-term stability for short-term control. Part 7, power and justice. Justice must guide authority. Without justice, power becomes domination. Domination invites resistance. Resistance generates instability. Justice creates balance. Fair process ensures that authority remains legitimate. If citizens believe decisions are fair, they accept outcome even when unfavorable. Fairness strengthens social cohesion. Cohesion strengthens resilience. Resilience protects sovereignty. Part 8, moral responsibility of leaders. Leadership magnifies impact. Small decisions affect large population. Minor errors influence national trajectory. Therefore, leaders must exercise discipline in judgment. Personal interest must not override public interest. Personal ambition must not distort policy. The greater the authority, the greater the moral obligation. And responsibility grows with influence. Ethical leadership understands this way. Part 9, the role of independent institutions. Institutions must monitor power, judiciary, legislative oversight, independent regulatory bodies. These are not obstacles to authority. They are safeguards against abuse. Without independent oversight, concentration of power becomes dangerous. Checks and balances protect stability. Balance prevents excess. Excess invites collapse. Part 10, power and humility. Humility stabilizes authority. It allows leaders to listen, to correct mistakes, to acknowledge limitation. Arrogance isolates leadership. Isolation weakens judgment. When leaders believe they cannot be questioned, errors multiply. Humility encourages consultation. Consultation improves policy. Improved policy strengthens trust. Trust sustains governance. Part 11, the limit of force. Force may enforce order temporarily, but order sustained only through force becomes fragile. Sustainable stability requires legitimacy. Legitimacy requires fairness. Fairness requires restraint. Force should protect law, not replace it. A government that relies excessively on force reveals weakness. Strength lies in voluntary compliance. Compliance arises from trust. Trust arises from justice. Part 12, power and corruption. Corruption thrives where power lacks limit. Unchecked authority can manipulate institutions. Manipulated institutions lose credibility. Credibility loss reduces cooperation. Reduced cooperation weakens governance. Ethical standards must guide decision-making. Codes of conduct, independent audits, clear procurement procedures. Transparency protects power from abuse. Abuse weakens sovereignty. Part 13, legacy of power. Power is temporary. Institutions endure, leaders pass, nations remain. The true measure of power is not immediate dominance. It is the condition of the nation after authority changes hands. Did institutions strengthen? Did trust increase? Did justice prevail? If so, power was exercised wisely. If not, power was misused. Legacy reveals truth. Part 14, citizen responsibility. Citizens also guard the limits of power. Active participation strengthens accountability. Constructive criticism improves governance. Silence enables excess. But criticism must be responsible, measured. Informed, constructive engagement strengthens democracy. Destructive agitation weakens stability. Balance is required. Part 15, discipline of power. Power must discipline itself. It must resist impulse. It must respect law. It must protect fairness. It must encourage transparency. It must accept oversight. Without discipline, authority becomes fragile. Without limits, strength becomes liability. Disciplined power endures. Undisciplined power collapses. Final charge. Respect power, but restrain it. Exercise authority, but limit it. Lead firmly, but govern justly. Strengthen institutions, protect law, encourage transparency. Practice humility, because power without moral limits destroys legitimacy. And legitimacy is the foundation of stability. Guard the limits of authority, for when power remains disciplined, sovereignty remains secure. The work continues.